Hello and welcome. I'm Seth Manfield, and we are going to be playing some Boros Feather today on MTG Arena. So this is the deck. It's straight up two colors. There are some feather decks that are splashing. I'm not doing any of that. So basically, this deck revolves around this card, Feather the Redeemed. So, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets one of our creatures, we basically we can get it back at the end of the turn, which is a super powerful effect and it dictates what spells we're playing in our deck. So, like, we have Reckless Rage that targets one of our creatures, Sheltering Light, Defiant Strike, Arrestor Zeal. These are your payoff cards with the feather. We also have 10th District Legionnaire, which is another great card you want to be targeting with your spells. Dreadhorde Arcanist works well with all of the 1-mana spells because we can reuse those cards. We've got 4 copies of Adanto Vanguard, just a solid 2-drop in this format. And also Legion Warboss. Some versions have had Krenko in this slot, which does in some ways synergize more with the deck, but I just think Legion Warboss is the more powerful card for this slot. So yeah, the deck is pretty streamlined here. The sideboard, Tecatlis can come in when those are good. Some Planeswalkers, Gideon and Ajani. Lyra is great against those super aggro decks. Lava Coil against creatures. And then we've got our Demystifies. Demystify is actually really good against Nexus of Fate decks. Being able to answer, say, a Search for Azcanta or Wilderness Reclamation can be the difference in the game. Sometimes we play out like a combo deck with Feather the Redeemed. Other games we're just going to be a straight up Boros beatdown deck, so games can play out in a few different ways. This is the deck. It's a cool deck. I'm going to be taking it right now onto the ladder. And I am Mythic, so we're going to have some pretty tough opponents, most likely, in these matches. So our opponent did take a mulligan here. Our hand is missing a red source, most notably. But if we do draw a red source, it's quite good. We have turn 2 Adanto Vanguard no matter what, and we're on the draw. So I'm going to keep this, hoping we're missing one piece of the puzzle here, which is our red mana, but we don't immediately need it, and if we do immediately get it, which we did, it's great. The question is, against basic planes, do we want to shock ourselves? I don't think I'm going to. A lot of times this turn 2 play is just going to be an Adanto Vanguard, which we don't want to be shocking anyways, and we also don't know what colors our opponent is playing there. But I'm just going to play this because it's more likely to dodge opposing removal as compared to 10th District Legionnaire, which could get cast down or something like that. Now this turn, because we can have Sheltering Light up, I'm going to play the Legionnaire. And we have that protection available to us. So could fire off the Defiant Strike. I just think that's pretty greedy. Our opponent missed a land drop. And they're just going to concede there. So we're not operating with a ton of information, right? We just saw those black-white lands, but we don't know beyond that what our opponent's up to, which makes it a little bit more difficult to sideboard. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to keep things the way they are. Maybe board out a couple of Reckless Rages for a couple of Ajanis. Or maybe it's better to board out a couple of shocks. Not sure about Gideons. They could be good. We're going to see what our opponent's playing. Gideon's going to be better on the play either way if we end up losing this. So our opponent did mulligan again here. I'm just going to keep this. Pretty solid hand overall. Oh, well, did not know that our opponent was playing Hero, a Precinct 1, or playing Mardu at all. So now we have that information. So the bold play is just to play Feather out, but I'm pretty worried about taking that line. I think I'm just going to play Dreadhorde Arcanist here. And pass. If our opponent makes one creature with Hero, I don't think it's the end of the world. Just going to block here. Our opponent's not playing Chain Whirler or anything like that. And we kind of want to wait till turn 4 to be able to play our Reckless Rage anyways. Okay, so this is interesting. Deafening Clarion. So that's going to try to sweep this board. I'm going to activate the Vanguard. The question is, do we want to save the Arcanist? Because if we don't, we can just play Feather and have Sheltering Light available. So I think I'm just going to let that die and value the Sheltering Light higher than the Dreadhorde Arcanist in this particular situation. Because once we have the Feather out, all of these spells just get so much more efficient. So Seraph resolves. Now we can use Reckless Rage to go ahead and get rid of it, and we're going to get it back. So go ahead, get rid of the Seraph, and it looks like our opponent is just going to immediately concede, which I don't blame them for. It's just a pretty sick combination of cards there. Well, this hand seems pretty good. We are on the draw, though. It looks like we're on the draw against Mono Red. So hopefully it's not too slow of a hand. Adanta Vanguard can be vulnerable in this matchup. Like, it's not great on this board, unfortunately. We could play the Arcanist, but there's a good chance that that will die to a Wizard's Lightning or Lightning Strike if we play that. So not a great spot to be in overall. Alright, I think I'm going to play the Vanguard. I mean, if we force them to use the Fanatical Firebrand on it, that's actually, I mean, not great for us, but also not the worst. And if they just attack in, this is pretty good, because we get to block the Pyromancer And the question is, do we want to actually try to save the Vanguard? Which could end up costing us a lot of life. So I'm gonna let these trade, go to 15. Unfortunately, the Sacred Foundry is not the optimal land for us here. Because, like, we would really like to... I think I am just going to have to shock here. As rough as it is. We just need to have these 1-mana spells available for this turn. I'm just going to try to save it. Really no other legitimate option besides trying to sheltering light there. They had just, like, we were playing around 1 of this effect, and they had 2. There's the Flame of Keld. We can Defiant Strike one of our opponent's creatures, which I'm just going to do that to draw a card. Okay. So, not actually a bad draw. I'm going to use that. Think we get rid of the Lava Runner. A Danto Vanguard. So I'm going to get in there for 3. I think that's worth it. I'm going to put a stop on the upkeep. There's a chance that we want to Reckless Rage before our draw. Although this is pretty unfortunate here. Yeah, not the spot we wanted to be in. I'm still going to do this. If our opponent kills our guy with Fanatical, it's really bad. But they might... Well, I guess we get the counter first, so they can't kill it. Unfortunately, we did scry land bottom and then just drew a land for turn. So... I guess we just attack still. Just feels pretty bad. Like, we're pretty likely to just lose this turn. Like, these Fanatical Firebrands deal so much damage. Yeah. We were on the draw there. Just kind of found ourselves on the back foot early, and that happens. I'm going to board in Lyra's. I think we want Tecatli's over a Danto Vanguard. We saw there a Danto Vanguard there's some issues with that card in this matchup. Demystify is actually another option if we want just a card for the Flame of Keld, although sometimes they're just not going to have Flame of Keld as part of their draw. Lava Coil's good if they're boarding in Rekindling Phoenix. We don't know if they are or not. So I think I'm just gonna board in the Lyras and the Tecatlis for this game. Cutting 2 copies of Arrester's Zeal. Zeal is okay, but the fact that Sheltering Light scries is pretty relevant. I'm just going to keep this. Sometimes you have to keep threat-heavy hands with this deck. Especially as we boarded in additional threats. It's going to happen. I'm going to play the Tecatli. The Legionnaires are not amazing in this hand. And this can stop a Pyromancer this turn. If our opponent wants to shock, that's fine. So we wanted a land to be able to deploy our Legion War Boss. Since we did not get it, I'm just going to play another Tecatli. Okay, so Chain Whirler is not going to trigger here. Yeah, not hitting this third land might cost us this game. Pretty weird situation. I think I will play the Legionnaire finally. And attack with it. I guess our opponent is mana flooded. They might have Pyromancers in hand that they're just not playing because of the Tecatlis. Well, I'm fine with this. We could have blocked the Lava Runners if necessary. I think we just play Dreadhorde Arcanist. It has a pretty high upside. We can potentially double shock something or double Defiant Strike. We are going to go down to 11 though on this hit. Yeah, so the opponent is flooding out a little bit. I think I want to Defiant Strike this. Although our opponent might have... The issue is that our opponent might just have... If our opponent has a 3 damage burn spell, it's super bad to do it right now. I guess the other play is just shocking a Lava Runner and go into combat. This was kind of the conservative line to try to play around a Lightning Strike or Wizard's Lightning. It doesn't seem like our opponent has one of those cards. Which maybe I should have realized. Had I realized that, I would have shocked the Chain Whirler. And then probably just shocked it again. I'm just going to block, I think. Yeah, we're just going to block here. We have another Tecatli. So we can try for that play now. We don't know what they drew, but I'm going to go for it. Seems like our opponent's pretty flooded. So we get to double shock the Chain Whirler, get in for 2. Now we've got our third land online. The pyromancers are shut off. Huh. Okay, so they kind of they were able to play out this Flame of Keld now, but we get to feather, so we can feather here and reuse this Defiant Strike in the yard. So we get to Defiant Strike the Arcanist, and how this works is that the feather, because of the feather, we're actually going to get this Defiant Strike back. So if our opponent wants to allow both of these pyromancers to die, that's fine. So the feather triggers, and that's a really cool interaction, I think. We could just lose to a burn spell now. We do have to still be thinking about that. We can, although our opponent's playing down to 1 card in hand. I'm just gonna cycle this to get us another card. So we are kind of comboing off now, in a sense. Legion Warboss is pretty good. I'm just gonna attack with the token. Hold up Defiant Strike plus Sheltering Light for this coming turn. Nothing too scary happens here. That's gonna be good news. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and make these blocks. And then we can Sheltering Light to save the feather. So that worked out in our favor, clearly. Now for game 3, we may want to sideboard out a couple of war bosses for like a couple of lava coils. I don't think we're doing anything too different. Yeah, I'm gonna try this. Just because we're gonna be on the draw here, Warboss loses some of its potency. Interesting that our opponent's playing the Flame of Keld version of mono red. I'm gonna keep this. It's a 2-creature hand. If our opponent gets rid of both of our creatures, that is a way that this deck can lose, but now we have another creature. Okay, so things are okay on this side. Let's see how good our opponent draws. Steamkin is the best play that they can have there. We don't have a shock in hand. I could cycle the Defiant Strike, which makes some sense so that I think I'm going to do it because we really need our 3rd land as well. Like, we only have 2. Now we have that 3rd land. The question is which of these 2s we want to play. I think I'm going to go with the Arcanist. Because if our opponent doesn't get rid of it, it's going to be really good. because we can double. Well, we can use a Reckless Rage. We can also reuse the Defiant Strike in the graveyard with it. And if they have a shock, they have to use shock plus Fanatical on it, which is more cards than just shocking the 10th District Legionnaire. And if they use Lava Coil on it, then they probably don't have a coil for the feather. I don't really understand attacking with Fanaticals. Like, if you're going to use the Fanaticals, then use them. Not sure I understand this line. I'm just going to block. So, like, if they had Shock plus... If they were gonna shock, they should have just shocked and sacked. That would have allowed them to get in an additional damage. So I'm just gonna jam 10th District Legionnaire. And I think we pass. Because if we Reckless Rage, kill the Steamkin, they can then Fanatical. They can sack Fanatical and deal a damage to it. So that would be essentially a trade. But I think this is a better opportunity to do it. If they have another burn spell in response, then they would be able to get rid of this. I'm just going to scry this bottom because we're looking for lands now for our Lyra. And also, just having a fourth land for our Feather turn is very valuable. So, like, we could jam the Feather, but the issue is that they can potentially just Lava Coil it. That's the big danger with the play. I guess I still do it. Maybe they've been holding a Lava Coil the whole time. Maybe they haven't. That's actually pretty annoying. They can Reckless Rage now to get rid of our Feather. It does mean they have to get rid of their own creature, though. Alright, so that's good. We're almost to Lyra. If we get Lyra down, we should win. So I think I might just cycle the Defiant Strike. Although I guess they could have Wizard's Lightning. Yeah, they do. Still gonna cycle it. I think we just kill this with Shock. I like our chances here, even though we're top decking. We're both top decking. Our draws are just a lot better. I'm gonna take one draw step here, I think. Could just Reckless Rage, but if we draw like a Feather or a Legionnaire, we would want to, we would definitely want to be able to have the Rage in hand. I'm just gonna take this. We're gonna be gaining 5 life on our turn, so we're not really in that much danger. So they're trying to kill Tecatli. I'm gonna take the Chain Whirler out. Okay. So I think we want to shock something. I kind of want to just... I think we just kill the Pyromancer. I am a little worried about this spot. That's a pretty good draw. Because once that Flame of Keld gets online, all of the burn spells our opponent has start to kill Lyra. Like they could hold on to burn spells. Looks like they're not doing that, so we'll see if they have another burn spell. If they do have another burn spell, it's pretty bad. Cuz they get to get rid of Lyra. But it looks like they didn't. Interesting sequencing there. Not sure our opponent sequenced those spells correctly. We're just gonna mulligan. Only one land. This is frustrating. This hand is okay for a 5. I think I'll just keep this on top. Not the most powerful card in the deck, but could be useful. We don't really know. And we already have enough lands. Well, this is interesting. Don't know what we're playing against exactly. I guess some sort of Sultai deck with Bond of Flourishing. I guess we're playing this Legion War boss, no matter what. I think I'm just gonna bash. Our hand is so bad. We just need to kind of have something break our way. So we can kill the Wild Growth Walker. I think that's the best course of action. Let our war boss die. Alright, so this is a 4-color brew. Or a 5-color brew.
Thank me later.
Don't really know what's going on exactly. But our opponent's winning this game.
This is hardly my worst defeat.
Yeah, Little Teferi is so powerful. Wow, command the Dreadhorde. That's pretty insane here. Wow.
This isn't a fight you can win.
Wow. I've not seen that card used this effectively before. Very impressive.
I've got time.
Well, we're just dead now. Okay. Well then. I think we want our planeswalkers. Probably want Tecatlis, right? I don't think we need shocks. Besides that, I'm not actually sure what to take out. We do have a lot of 2-drops now. So I guess I'm gonna shave on some stuff. Yeah, hard to know exactly how to sideboard against a deck like our opponents. I don't think we can keep that. So we're going to stop the explore stuff immediately. Might as well attack. There's some chance our opponent doesn't block here. They're not going to. Since we already have Tecatli, I guess I should play Clifftop Retreat to hold up Sheltering Light.
I'm known for my excellent timing. That's more like it.
Yeah, not a great spot here. Just gonna play out our 2 creatures.
worry. I got this.
Yep, Branchwalker doesn't do anything here. We can just send everything at Teferi. I think I'm going to. So do we Sheltering Light to save one? I don't think we need to. And we can't because of the Teferi anyways. Probably shouldn't have said that.
I've got it. Let's try this.
So we could use Sheltering Light just to scry here, but I think we're just dead. Yeah, we're probably just dead.
My army will envelop you. What a good, mindless minion.
So yeah, that's the low point with the deck. Just kind of flooded out both of those games. Our opponent did their thing, and that can happen. We didn't get Feather into play at all. So I like just killing the Llanowar Elves immediately. Not sure what's going on here, though. Well, we're in a good spot. We're in a pretty good spot now. There's not really many sweepers that our opponent can have, so I'm just gonna jam the Feather. We don't have a payoff card for the Feather in our hand, but it looks like it is just GG's. So our opponent's playing some sort of blue-green deck, but we don't really know what it is. per se. Bring in Gideon, take out a couple Sheltering Light. Alright, so we're in a pretty good spot here, but we don't know what our opponent might have that they're accelerating into. Could be just a Hydroid Crisis.
In this land, we are all connected. The land shall conquer you.
So we can take out the forest with Reckless Rage. And we could also arrest her Zeal as well, just to get the Nis off the board. I think I will do that. So this attack basically guarantees killing Nissa.
Forgive me.
That is quite annoying. Our opponent also gets to make a dude here. I guess we can now shock the war boss. I think I'll do that.
Gods bless us in our righteous cause. Share in my light.
I like having the goblin back for blocking.
Prepare for battle.
Yeah, that ooze might beat us, but we're gonna keep trying to fight through it. Our opponent is at 4, so we could like top deck like a Restozeal or something to win. Could also minus Gideon just to trade with the ooze. I guess I'll attack. Might as well. Our opponent is ranked 18th, so we know that they're a good player. Yeah, I'm just gonna get rid of the ooze.
My sword is your end.
I have a feeling we're gonna die to whatever our opponent plays next, but I think we just have to make that play. Alright, that could have been way worse for us. Still no good attacks, unfortunately. Come on, Arrest Your Zeal for the win. Defiant Strike. Unfortunately, I think we might just have to cycle this. That's what I'm gonna do. Ah. Rough, rough, rough. I guess we can attack here. Man, we're actually kind of close to winning this. But our draws have just not panned out. All right, I'm gonna try attacking. It at least means they probably just chump off with this Adanto Vanguard, maybe. So it's not great for us, but it might have been our best move because we were losing one of the goblins anyways. Okay. Yeah, that's probably game now. Alright, game 3. We still got another game in us, don't worry. We horrifically flooded that game. I think I'm just gonna resubmit. We should be favored here, especially being on the play. Seems good. I like this hand quite a bit. So our opponent doesn't have really that much that can straight up kill a feather, so I'm just going to play it this turn. And then next turn we have the Reckless Rage online. Yeah, so we're just gonna go off here. Basically, we don't need to play any more threats. I'm gonna cycle the Defiant Strike. I'm gonna put a stop on the end step. That's gonna allow us to, if we want to, we can actually get rid of the incubation druid while our opponent's tapped out. I think I'll do that. Like activating a Danto Vanguard isn't. I don't think we're in danger of dying by doing this, because we can still cast this during our turn before they untap. Potentially have some sort of protection spell available. And that is the game. Ranking up. Went from 657 to 412 because we beat someone with a pretty high rank. I am going to keep this. Seems okay. Lots of Llanowar elves today. Can't control what we play against. If we're playing against the same exact deck, it's possible. I didn't know that this deck was popular though. Our opponent has so much mana. I kind of want to Reckless Rage the Druid. I think I'm gonna do that and just cycle this Defiant Strike, because we need lands pretty badly. Yeah, and this is pretty good here.
We will not fail. The land fights for us.
Attacking with both. That's a pretty good draw. So now we can kill everything. Hope our opponent doesn't top deck.
My strength fades.
Krasis or one of their big spells. Another Nissa, that's good.
I will protect the virtue of this world.
We can still kill this one though.
Behold, nature's true power.
If we want to. Could just arrest her Zeal and kill it. We also want Feather in play though. But I think I should just get rid of the Nissa. Just such a powerful card. Not sure if I should attack with the Danto Vanguard. I think I'm going to.
I must seek comfort in the land.
Alright, so now we're in good shape. To get the feather out so that we can start sheltering lighting. Just gonna use it. So yeah, this appears to be a very similar deck to the one we just played against. I'm gonna board in. I think I'm gonna board similarly. Also gonna bring in the lava coils on the draw. Sheltering Light is not good against a deck without any like actual like destroy target creature or burn removal. Their removal seems to be like bounce or like gain control of a creature. Definitely makes the Sheltering Light value go down. Alright, this is acceptable. So we can either kill that now or play a Danto Vanguard. With this hand... Yeah, I'm just gonna play the Vanguard. But not clear is correct. Interesting.
Every day is a new lesson.
It's pretty good. Our opponent's just gonna block here.
My students are loyal and brilliant.
Being on the draw may lose us this game. If we were on the play, this would be very, very different. Yeah, I'm gonna try to take out... Kasmina with at least one. Interesting that our opponent's not willing to block there. I think we just feather it up. Feather it up.
I will aid you. Rise, my elemental friend.
Well, we cannot immediately get rid of the Nissa. Unfortunately. I'm just gonna play Gideon.
Gideon Jura, at your service. I believe in you, friend.
I think we send everything at Nissa, try to get rid of it. I suspect our opponent will block with everything. Or block with two things, I should say.
Let us talk of peace.
They can actually just kill our Gideon, potentially. If they want to attack and kill it, they can. Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. Well, that is crazy good. Wow, so many insane plays today. I'm just going to concede to that. That is really good. Was not expecting that, for sure. Think we just run it back on the play this time. Good enough to keep. Let's do it. Would love a 3-mana play like Feather, Warboss, Gideon, but our opponent's taking epic mulligans. So that's probably good news. Alright, well, that was kind of anticlimactic. I'll play one more. I'm gonna play one more just because of that. That was kind of a not what I wanted for a last match. So we're gonna keep going. Seems fine. I'm gonna keep up the shock. So I think we want a Legionnaire. It's gonna die, but like, if we play a Danto Vanguard and they just play a Chain Whirler, that's also pretty bad. Now do we play the Vanguard? I think so. I think I'm just going to play that and play the Guild Gate. Hope that they don't have a second Chain Whirler. Do we fight? Do we fight for our Vanguard to stay in play? We would have to go to 12 to do it. I guess I'll pay one time. I don't think I'll pay a second time. So we'd have to go down to 8 now. But we're making them use up their burn spells. Actually I am gonna go to 8. I know it's dangerous. Definitely dangerous, but it allows us to have this onboard clock presented. So we're definitely playing this guy here. I think we're just getting in and playing the second Vanguard. Our opponent has 3 cards in hand. We're hoping to dodge a decent amount of stuff. If they have a bunch more burn, we're just not going to win this game no matter what. Obviously another Chain Whirler, it's just lights out. I think I will block this. Okay. All right. We've seemed to maneuver ourselves into a pretty good spot. Oh no. Oh, so brutal. Sheltering Light this one. So brutal. That was the one card we were just hoping to dodge. Double shocks. Can we possibly win from here? Not sure if we can. Yeah, I think we're dead here. I'm just gonna take it. They're passing. I mean, I assume they just have a burn spell. I could shock the Legionnaire. Puts a counter on this, because we have to draw something. If they don't have anything, but they probably have something, right? I guess I will shock the Legionnaire because we get a scry off of it. Yeah. Seemed like we were dead, and we were. Board into Cotley's, Lyra's, for sure. Those are easy. And the Vanguards we take out. They're a big liability in this matchup, as we saw in that game. This is going to be the config. Like, the Vanguards were really the only threat we drew, so unfortunately we just had to hope that they would be good, and they were not, particularly against the double Chain Warlord draw. Feather is not an easy deck to sideboard against. Don't know what our... Normally they bring in lava coils. Oh, we'll see. I guess our opponent maybe doesn't for sure know we're on this deck, but they should probably assume so. Just gonna lead on the tap Sacred Foundry with this hand. We need to draw more lands, but if we hit land 3, we can start really getting going. So that's just we're just one land away from that. Okay. So our hand is online now. I think I'm just gonna play the Feather. Because our opponent could like shock or Lightning Strike a War Boss. And here, like, it kind of forces a Lava Coil or just leaving it in play. Oh. We didn't know they were playing green, did we? Don't think we knew about that. Trying to think if our opponent did anything in the last game that would indicate they had green cards like Gruul Spellbreaker. It's not going as I had expected this game to go. We've also just drawn no good cards for our Feather yet. So we'll just jam the Lyra. Lyra does make the Feather into a 4/5. I should have attacked with the Feather. That was just a misplay. I apologize. I could have gained... I wasn't even thinking about the life gain there, but I should have attacked. We would have gained an additional 4. So 4 missed life may very well cost us. Hopefully it does not, but it could. I think I'll just cycle this here. Huh. So we can shock the Phoenix and then finish it off. It's probably worth it. It's unfortunate. Ugh. That is rough. I was liking our spot. I really was. Until that just happened. We actually just don't have anything great to do at all now. Our opponent has had a lot of removal and very good creatures against us. And at least I did not realize that our opponent was playing some of these cards that they are playing.
You and I are gonna take them out. Sit back and watch it burn.
Okay. Well, that's a good draw. Alright, this is nice now. Because we can profitably attack on the Chandra. I mean, we've got him pretty lucky here. Not sure if I played this optimally this game, but sometimes you run good off the top. What can I say? Like, the turn when we killed the Phoenix, maybe I just was supposed to, in case our opponent killed the Feather, we could have maybe got one more use of it if we just passed there with the 2 shocks. Just wasn't expecting them to have Lava Coil. What did they do? They had Lava Coil plus Shock. Yeah, that was bad for us. But luckily we drew another Feather just in time. Hopefully. But I think we're going to win now. Obviously, it's not guaranteed, but...
Oh, it's you burning.
I guess if they want to win, it starts with killing our Feather here. Just going to cycle. Yeah, so we boarded as if we were against mono red. So we might not have wanted to Cotley's. So here I can play the Lyra to pump the Feather. I don't want to forget that. Not sure if it's definitely the correct play. I think I'm just going to play Legionnaire. And... just start using this stuff for value. We get so many draws, it's pretty ridiculous. And we're just gonna get our... Yeah, that seems fine. So we just make our 10th District Legionnaire into an 8-power guy this turn. I think I just play the Arcanist. Get all of our stuff back. Alright. So definitely, I'm boarding in Lava Coils. I don't think we want Tecatli's after all. I think we want a Rester Zeal to try to protect our creatures as best we can. Because our opponent's boarding in a lot of burn. Not sure about Shocks. They seem okay, but not great. Basically. But if we're not playing Tecatli's, maybe we want some Adanto Vanguards. I guess I could just keep it like this. I'll keep the Shocks in. Maybe our opponent has 2 drops that we're unaware of. But our opponent's list looks pretty interesting. I will say that. Like, Tecatli only stops Chain Whirler, basically, as far as we're aware. And after taking out our Adanto Vanguards, there's not really... Like, the Chain Whirlers become less good against us. They're still fine, but I don't think we need Tecatli's to stop that trigger. So do we play Mountain in case they play a 2-drop here? I think so. It would just feel pretty bad if they played like a Growth Chamber Guardian and we didn't have the ability to kill it. Hopefully this doesn't die. There's a decent chance it does, but did not. So that's good. I think we want a Defiant. We want a double Defiant Strike here. We probably also want to Reckless Rage. To get rid of this. So we can attack and Defiant Strike. This will give us another card. Allows us to have more information about what's going on. So the question is now, do we shock ourselves off the Sacred Foundry? I think I'm just going to play the Boros Guildgate. If our opponent had a removal spell for this, they might have just cast it last turn, but also, like, being able to War Boss plus having Sheltering Light is great. Okay, that is not scary at all. Not scary at all. So we can actually get rid of the Domri. And we can get rid of the Crawl Harpooner. Attack both at Domri. And then just shock it. I think that's good. It leaves our opponent with only 1 card in hand. Pretty tough for them to do too much that we're worried about. Now Lyra's ready to go. Never really had a great opportunity to use the Sheltering Light in our hand, which is the only weird thing about this game. But yeah, our opponent's just gonna concede. So anyways, thanks everyone for watching. Sorry if I was coughing a little bit. I have a little bit of a cold. Hopefully it didn't affect the videos too much. I think that this feather deck is really good. It's not like a tier 1 deck, but it's a deck that is very underrepresented right now, and it's doing a lot of powerful stuff, so definitely try it out.